We need to have a serious conversation about the future of open world gaming and specifically about the 800-pound gorilla in the room that just woke up and decided it wants to fight Rockstar Games. Super smart. Now, usually when we talk about Activision on this channel, it's because they've nerfed movement in Warzone, or they've released a Groot skin that makes you invisible, or they just laid off a bunch of people while the CEO buys another yacht. You know, standard industry stuff. But today we're talking about something genuinely different. Something that, if the rumors are true, could actually change the landscape of the next generation of consoles. There's a new report floating around from the folks over at Gamer Official and backed up by some job listings and insider leaks that Activision is building a massive standalone IP under the codename Project Avalon. And before you go into the comments, yes, I know, Avalon is also the name of the rumored Call of Duty map. I didn't know why they did this. It's like when you have two friends named Mike and you have to refer to them as Cool Mike or Work Mike or Prism Mike. So just to be clear, we aren't talking about Work Mike, the Call of Duty map. We are talking about Cool Mike, Project Avalon, the standalone game. Because this game isn't a shooter. Well, it's not just a shooter. The pitch is an urban open world RPG with a distinct fantasy edge. Let that sink in for just a second. Urban, open world, fantasy. You read between the lines, Activision isn't trying to make another Call of Duty. They're trying to build a GTA killer, but with a twist. They're trying to make Grand Theft Auto meets Harry Potter meets Cyberpunk. And I know that sounds like a fan fiction written by a 13-year-old on Reddit, but stick with me for just a few minutes, because when you look at who is making this game and the marketing void they are trying to fill, this might actually be the boldest move Activision has made in 20 years. We're going to break down the leak. We're going to roast the terrible naming convention. We're going to analyze the studio, Elsewhere Entertainment. And of course, we're going to figure out how they're going to monetize the absolute soul out of it. So get comfortable, grab a snack, maybe check your mana bar, and let's dive into Project Avalon. So first things first, let's look at the source. This is coming out of a new studio established by Activision called Elsewhere Entertainment. Now, Elsewhere Entertainment sounds like the kind of place where indie bands go to record sad albums, but it's actually a powerhouse studio based in Warsaw, Poland, and the United States. And this is the first big green flag for this project because of who they are hiring. If you look at the talent roster for Elsewhere, it's kind of a who's who of AAA heavy hitters. They have snagged veterans from Naughty Dog, CD Projekt Red, Bungie, and Ubisoft. Let's break down what that specific cocktail of talent means for the gameplay. You've got the Naughty Dog people, the folks behind Uncharted and The Last of Us. These guys don't miss when it comes to narrative, character acting, and polish. They know how to make you care about a character before tragically killing them off in the first hour. Then you've got the CD Projekt Red veterans, The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 crew. These guys understand complex RPG systems, massive world building, and moral ambiguity. They also know how to release a game that is completely broken at launch, but we're going to hope the Naughty Dog producers keep them in check. And then you sprinkle in some Bungie devs for that crisp, satisfying gunplay feel. So all of this on paper, you have the recipe for the perfect video game. You have the story of The Last of Us, the open world depth of The Witcher, and the gunplay of Destiny, all set in a modern city where magic is real. The article describes it as a franchise level IP. That is marketing speak for, we plan to milk this for the next 10 years with sequels, TV shows, and lunchboxes. But let's talk about the setting. Urban fantasy. This is a genre that is criminally underutilized in gaming. We have high fantasy like Skyrim or Dragon Age. Swords, shields, dragons, British accents. We have sci-fi, Mass Effect, Halo, Cyberpunk. Lasers, spaceships, shiny chrome. But urban fantasy, that mix of dirty, gritty modern streets with arcane magic, we barely see it. The closest thing we really have is maybe Shadowrun or Vampire the Masquerade, or that one Will Smith movie on Netflix called Bright that everyone collectively decided to forget. Imagine the gameplay loop here. You're driving a sports car down a rainy highway, listening to the radio, classic GTA style. The cops light you up. In GTA, you pull out an Uzi. In Project Avalon, maybe you roll down the window and cast a kinetic blast that flips the squad car upside down. Maybe you teleport out of the driver's seat onto a rooftop. That is the promise of this game. It's the freedom of a sandbox city, but your toolbox isn't just guns, it's supernatural abilities. Now let's pivot to the business side of this because, I always got to sprinkle in some marketing analysis on this channel. Why is Activision doing this now? For the last decade, Activision has been the Call of Duty factory. That is their bread and butter. It's their safety net. Every studio they own, Toys for Bob, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, they've all been fed into the COD grinder eventually. So why branch out? Why take a massive financial risk on a new IP? 3 words: Grand Theft Auto. GTA 6 is coming. We all know it. It is going to be the biggest entertainment launch in human history. It's going to make $1 billion in 24 minutes. And every other publisher is terrified of it. But they also see the big opportunity. GTA 5 has been keeping the lights on at Rockstar for 3 console generations. It is an infinite money printer. Activision looks at that and says, we want one of those. They have Warzone, but Warzone is a battle royale. It's competitive, it's sweaty, it's stressful. They don't have that chill open world role-playing forever game where you can just hang out with your friends, buy virtual clothes, and drive really cool cars. That is a massive slice of the market that Activision currently gets $0 from. And let's not forget the Microsoft factor. Microsoft owns Activision now. Phil Spencer has been very vocal about wanting more diversity in their exclusive lineup. Xbox has shooters. They have Halo, Gears, Doom, Call of Duty. They have RPGs like Starfield and Fable, but they don't have a GTA. They don't have that gritty urban open world. Saints Row is dead. Watch Dogs is on life support. Project Avalon is clearly their attempt to fill that gap in the Game Pass library for the year 2027 or 2028. But we also have to talk about the elephant in the room, or that gorilla, the Activision of it all. This is the part of the video where I have to be the cynical gamer. The concept of a Magic GTA sounds incredible, but can we trust Activision to monetize it respectfully? Let's look at the current state of Call of Duty. You buy the game for $70 or more, then there's a battle pass, then there's the Black Cell Pass for $30, then there are skin bundles for $20 a pop. Now imagine that monetization model applied to an RPG. You want to be a fire wizard? Cool. The fire starter pack is $19.99. You want your magic spells to look green instead of blue? That's an Emerald Tracer pack. You want to travel fast across the map? You can walk, or you can buy the Nimbus 2000 broomstick skin for your character for 2,400 COD points. My biggest fear for Project Avalon isn't that the gameplay will be bad. With the talent they hired, the gameplay will probably be as smooth as butter. My fear is that the game will be designed around the engagement algorithm. We know Activision holds patents for matchmaking systems that encourage microtransactions. For example, putting you in a lobby with someone who has a cool gun skin so that you get jealous and buy it. In a single player or co-op RPG, how does that manifest? Are they going to make the grind for mana potions so tedious that you're forced to buy XP boosters? It's a valid concern. When you hear boldest move yet from a corporation, usually that refers to the profit margins, not the artistic integrity. But let's step back from the ledge for a second and look at the glass half full perspective. The gaming industry is in a weird spot right now. We are seeing a lot of fatigue. People are tired of the same old extraction shooters. People are also tired of the same old battle royales. We saw with Baldur's Gate 3 that gamers are hungry for fantasy. We saw with Cyberpunk, eventually, the gamers are hungry for futuristic cities. Project Avalon is trying to merge those demographics. And the confusing names aside, Avalon implies Arthurian legend. King Arthur, Excalibur, the Lady of the Lake. They are bringing King Arthur mythology into a modern day setting. That is sick. Imagine a storyline where the reincarnation of Merlin is a hacker living in a basement in New York City. Imagine finding Excalibur, but it's not a sword, it's a glowing baseball bat. Okay, maybe not that, but you get the idea. Modern reinterpretations of ancient myths are always cool. And let's talk about the engine. Activision uses the IW engine, the Modern Warfare engine, which is arguably the best FPS engine on the market right now in terms of feel. It's heavy, it's punchy, the sound design is incredible. They take that engine, which is built for military shooters, and they tweak it for magic casting. That tactile feel could be unmatched. Think about the first time you played BioShock. You had a gun in the right hand and a plasmid power in the left. That was 2007. We haven't really had a game that perfected that dual-wielding guns and magic feeling in a massive open world since then. If L2 Entertainment can nail the combat loop, make the magic feel as impactful as a shotgun blast, they have a winner. So what is the timeline here? When are we actually going to see this thing? The report says the studio is fully established in hiring, but this is a project. That usually means pre-production or early production. Making a game on the scale of GTA 6 or Cyberpunk can take upwards of 5 to 7 years. They started in earnest in, say, 2023 or 2024. It's simple math. We're looking at 2028, maybe 2029. This is likely a launch title for the next generation of consoles. We're talking PlayStation 6, whatever the next Xbox is called. The Xbox Sphere, the Xbox 722, who knows? That creates an interesting dynamic because it means they aren't held back by the PS5 or Series S hardware. They can go full Unreal Engine 5 or whatever proprietary tech they use for lighting, density, and particle effects. And for an urban fantasy game, particle effects are everything. You need that magic to pop. You need the neon signs reflecting off the rain-slick streets while a fireball explodes in the background. I want to wrap this up by kind of circling back to the name confusion because it really is funny to me. Activision has thousands of employees. They have marketing departments. They have focus groups. And yet we have Project Avalon, the game, and Avalon, the Warzone map. This tells me one of two things. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing at Activision. They are connected. Hear me out. This is my tinfoil hat theory of the day. What if the Avalon map in Warzone is a teaser? What if they start introducing supernatural elements into Warzone on that map to test the tech? We've seen them do it with the Halloween events. They add zombies, they add super jumps. Maybe Warzone is the testing ground for the mechanics of Project Avalon. If you see a weird magical ability pop up in Warzone in 2026, just remember, Cyler called it. But ultimately, guys, competition is good. We need someone to challenge Rockstar. We need someone to challenge CD Projekt Red. If Activision can pull this off, if they can create a living, breathing city where I can be a wizard with a sniper rifle, I am all in. I am ready to be hurt again. But I want to pass the question off to you guys, because the comment section is where the real IQ points live. What do you think about Grand Theft Hogwarts? Is this the dream game you didn't know you wanted, or is it just going to be a soulless cash grab full of microtransactions? And seriously, if you were in charge of Activision marketing, what would you have named this project instead of Avalon? Give me your best names in the comments. As always, I'll be down there hearting the ones that make me laugh and arguing with the ones that say Call of Duty Ghosts was the best COD ever made. If you enjoyed this deep dive, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It helps the algorithm more than you know. If you're new here, hit subscribe. We cover gaming news, we crack jokes, and we try not to take life too seriously. I've been Kyler Ray. Keep your mana full, watch your six, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.